Shalom, brothers and sisters. It's Billy outside. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahweh, peace, salutation to all full scattered about across the four corners of the earth, learning and teaching this gospel with truth and sincerity. Shalom. Today I want to go over how the origins of Halloween, how it's pagan. The origins of Halloween traditions. This is posted by Heather Thomas. So we read it right here. Carving pumpkins, trick-or-treating, wearing scary costumes are some of the time-honored traditions of Halloween, yet the Halloween holiday has its roots in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, a pagan, the Gaelic word Samhain, a pagan religious celebration to celebrate the harvest at the end of the summer, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor saints. Soon after, All Saints' Day came to incorporate some of the traditions of Samhain. The evening before All Saints' Day was known as All Hallows' Eve, and later Halloween. Here is a look at the origins of some of the classic Halloween traditions we know today. 1910 in Los Angeles, carving jack-o'-lanterns. The tradition of the carving jack-o'-lantern in Ireland using turnips instead of pumpkins. It is allegedly based on legend about a man named Stingy going in as well. Seeing ghosts, the festival of Samhain marked the transition to New Year at the end of the harvest, beginning of winter. Celtic people believed that during the festival, spirits walked the earth. Later on, Christian missionaries introduced All Souls' Day on November 2nd, which perpetuated the idea of living coming into the contract with the dead around the same time of the year. So we see the Christians tied it to, they took traditions from Samhain, which is an Irish festival that they celebrated back in those times. So all these Christian holidays, they always get these pagan gods tied to it. So we see it's a pattern. So we know that all these pagan holidays are tied into these false religions. So because it's all paganism that they follow. History about Easter stems from Ashtoreth, a pagan goddess of fertility. That's why there's eggs as well associated with the tradition. Bunny rabbits don't lay eggs, but people don't know that. Christmas, Hamashiach wasn't born on December 25th, and that's paganism. That goes back to Romans. They worship that as well, known as Saturnalia. I've talked about that before on the block. And I have a book called Two Babylons. It goes into this as well. Yahweh Radazah could bring that out on the block as well, but I'm just going to get into this one. So it's a Saturnalia. It's all based off these ancient Babylon type of gods that they worship. It's nothing new. They don't follow the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahweh. And the scriptures say, don't take his name in vain. You're tying Yahweh Shem Yahweh, of course, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, but they're tying him to these pagan holidays that are satanic. And Yahweh Shai said not to do the ways of the heathen, which will bring out. It's ordained of Yahweh Shem Yahweh to not follow these things, but they try to say this is ordained of God, these pagan ways, but it's not. Yahweh Shem Yahweh ordained us to, if you love me, keep my commandments. There's none of these are in these pagan holidays are in the Bible. Christianity would also have these ancient churches, which were temples of Roman Greek gods, and they would say Saint Peter or Paul or David, and then they would tie it to that it's actually saying it's those people, but it's not. It's actually Zeus. They were capping. It's all man-made, 8th century, not in the Bible. It's all invented. This came from the 8th century, man-made 8th century, man. So we see that the Bible, it's not in there. It's just these Christian religions, they spread it out the world because they say you got to love everybody, so it's all accepted. Samhain was already here. So this all stems from a Roman Catholic Church. Understanding behind the Catholic Church, and they believe in this purgatory to be purified before you go to heaven. It's all a cap. It came, and they came with pagan traditions. They all tied it to pagan traditions. Even this trick or treating, they paid it they tied it to on All Souls Day to their Christian ways. You see right here as well. Have it. A Celtic festival of celebration and superstition. I got this from the Spirit of Christ. He had a video on it. I got this one because this was edifying. Give credit where it's due. A Celtic festival of celebration, superstition, other famous Irish traditions. Like I said, other famous Irish traditions. St. Patrick's Day, Easter, and Christmas. That's why I went into those St. Patrick's, Easter, and Christmas, because it's all pagan. I went into a St. Patrick's Day as well. I did it. I posted a TikTok on that. Check that out. Like I said on the website, it marks the end of harvest season, the beginning of winter. It's during this time, boundary between the living and the dead was blurred, allowing spirits to roam freely. That's what they believe in during this day. And Celts lit bonfires and were costumes to ward off these wandering spirits. They also believed that the presence of spirits made it easier for Druids, Celtic priests, to make predictions about the future. So they had priests on the left-hand side, because we know we have priests on the right-hand side of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So we see what this goes into, and the dark origin of trick or treat. Ancient Celts, what we were just going into, would hide behind masks or paint their faces black and wear old clothing so ghosts wouldn't recognize or taunt them. So that's what trick or treating goes back to. So let's get right here. Let's get a precept. And then we'll watch a video on it as well. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. So this is great. It's straight folly. Halloween. This is what Solomon prophesied, man. Straight folly all around this wicked world, which is the world is given into the hand of the wicked, and Esau eating the so-called white man. We're at in these last days, subject to payments, yet this day in our captivity. And we see this is all folly. Halloween, people, grown men, man, still going to paying for costumes, supporting satanic pagan days, thinking you're going to have they think they're doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, like they think that they're in their right mind, but they're really in ignorance. And they call themselves Christians, and they push it on their kids. This is all in these churches known as these harlot houses, man. This is what goes on. You carve a demonic face on the pumpkin, and you don't even eat the seeds or the meat. What's actually good for you. The dentist benefits off you as well for these kids because they're eating all that candy, and it's just gonna make these cavities come in your teeth. And once these cavities come in your teeth, the dentists are gonna make money off your insurance because they're gonna get money through those fillings, through that procedure called getting fillings, where they make money off through your insurance. And that's a big payday for these dentists. And just as well, just with a kid waking up saying my teeth hurt, and you go to the dentist, that's running up the insurance as well, just because it's to check up. You're checking in. So the dentists, they love Halloween time for all these kids as well. I wanted to get this one as well.
8-year-old fashion designer from France currently introduce you to the head witch, Michelle Lamy. She's a 78-year-old fashion designer from France, currently married to the American fashion designer, Rick Owens. Here she is wearing his head on her body during Fashion Week. And not only that, through the years, she's developed close relationships with ton celebrities, including A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky mentions Rick Owens in his music a lot, if you're familiar. Here's another picture of A$AP doing the satanic ritual in the beginning of his career. Not only that, Michelle is very close with another coven, the Kardashians. Starting to make sense? I would like to
So we see these women are that woman right there, Michelle Lamy, and Rick Owens. These are witches, man, witches and warlocks. We see it as well as Travis Scott. He is too, man. It's all the left hand side, witches and warlocks on the left hand side, following after the ways of Satan. So we see who performs today in Oakland, California, which is an hour away from me. Travis Scott is performing on this pagan satanic day, Halloween. So this is all witchcraft going on, as we can see. It's nothing new under the sun. There was witches back then. What does the scripture say? I suffer a witch not to live. So this I went into a lesson about witches as well. You know, it's the necromancy. You know, they're talking to the dead. You check it out, Yahweh Radazah. You know, and a lot of people twist the scriptures. That's witchcraft as well. Twisting the scriptures is witchcraft. We see right here that these, you know, that Michelle Lamy and Rick Owens is celebrating Halloween as well, because it's all part of their witchcraft is serving Satan. It's Travis Scott celebrating as well. He's doing a concert on it on that day in Oakland. So, and we see a lot. Travis Scott did a ritual sacrifice November 5th, not too long ago in Houston, where 10 people died at his concert. So, hey, brothers and sisters, Yahweh Radazal, you watch this video and don't go to that concert. I know people of Church Yahweh Shem Yahushua ain't gonna go. I'm just saying for these other people who haven't came to the belief Yahweh Shem Yahushua yet. You need to repent, be baptized in water, and name Yahushua for remission of sins, and walk in the newness of life, and then go through the sanctification process. So, continuing on though, these dentists, man, they love this, man. That's why it's straight folly. That was straight folly too as well. We just see there's just a lot of people are satanic on the left hand side, and they love this day, because all kids are gonna bring in the dentist money as well. Like I'm getting into, 2/3 of our people are gonna learn the hard way by partaking in this, man. So let's get this. Jeremiah chapter 10. Well, honestly, before we get that, let's watch the history of Halloween.
Every year, millions of people around the country spill into streets, dressed as fairies, goblins, characters from their favorite movie franchise, and everything in between, partying and making mischief. But outside of a good time, how many know why they do it? Today, Halloween is a billion-dollar industry. But exactly how did it get there? While today Halloween is synonymous with commercialism, it wasn't always that way. The word Halloween comes from the words hallow, meaning holy person, and een, deriving...
Yeah, and that's a point right there. Hallow means holy. And you're using, what did Yahweh Shai say in Matthew 6:9 when he's telling the disciples how to pray? Hallowed be thy name. You know, so come on, let's get it. It's Matthew chapter 6. In verse 9, when he's telling to the disciples how to pray, he said, after this, therefore pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So praying to thy Father, Yahweh, hallowed be thy name. Hallowed means to be set apart, holy, hallow, sanctify, be holy. So you're using this on the left-hand side. You're using Yahweh Shem Yahushai, hallowed, which is in the Bible. You're using it on the left-hand side. That is straight wicked.
Is a contraction of Eve. And All Hallows Eve finds its origins all the way back in the time of the ancient Celtic pagans with the holiday of Samhain, a 3-day fire festival that essentially celebrated death and rebirth. The Celts, who lived in what is now Ireland, Scotland, the UK, and parts of Northern Europe, based their calendar on the Wheel of a Year.
Right there in Ireland, Irish, like I was getting into.
Essentially divided into two halves, the light and the dark. When one gave way to the other, this transition was marked by a fire festival. The word Samhain translates into modern Irish to summer's end. Samhain celebrated the dead, and particularly the celebratory feast paid homage to loved ones who had passed away recently, essentially as an invitation.
We see they celebrate the dead
For their spirits to rejoin the living. Many of Samhain's original rituals have been lost, but what we do know of their holiday traditions from Celtic folklore and ancient Roman historians is that they were intended to connect them to spirits, including costumes, most likely animal or furs to help them hide from the unfriendly ones, feasting, and making lanterns from hollowed out gourds, seemingly the birth of the modern pumpkin jack-o'-lantern. Sacrifices, generally of crops or animals, were made during this time as an offering to the spirits.
We're going to see blood sacrifices. We're going to get into that.
Popular for tricks or pranks to be played by humans and blamed on mischievous spirits. As a result of the Roman invasion, with most of the Celtic land being conquered by Rome in 43 CE, the spread of Christianity and Catholicism would force pagan Celtic traditions to evolve or be completely repressed. In part, many Celtic traditions and popular pagan practices were reframed to fit within a Christian narrative, as a way of converting people with greater comfort and ease.
Like I said, it just went all right back in through Christianity, Roman Catholicism.
Samhain would evolve into All Saints' Day, which was also referred to as All Hallows' Day, and was intended to be a day to celebrate the Christian saints and martyrs. Essentially, instead of honoring pagan gods and mischievous spirits, they now celebrated Christian figures.
So they just switched it from pagan gods to Christian figures. And it's still all tied in. Straight wicked.
While the sacrifices were replaced by food offerings to the poor, the tricks and pranks continued.
Which is still all paganism.
Instead, they were now attributed to the spirits of the saints. Halloween evolved as a more secular version of All Hallows' Eve, and eventually it would become more popular in common practice than All Saints' Day. While Halloween has its origins in the British Isles, there's a great disparity in its popularity in former British colonies. The Puritans who came to colonize America were Protestant and did not celebrate holidays of the Catholic Church, as they were believed to lead to idolatry.
Like I said, Catholics went to Catholicism as well.
In the early days of the American colonies, celebrations of Halloween were mostly forbidden, as they were deemed too pagan or too Catholic by the Protestant colonizers, though elements of it began to incorporate into secular harvest-related events in the 1800s. The mid-19th century saw a large influx of immigrants entering the country, especially Irish immigrants who were greatly impacted by the potato famine. With these people came Halloween customs, out of which one of America's favorite holidays was formed. In keeping with the mischief, children would dress in costumes and be given money or fruit for artistic offerings like poetry, songs, or even jokes, instead of prayers.
Because it is mischief.
By the late 19th century, children were playing seemingly innocuous pranks on their small local communities. Adults would soon find incentive to dissuade children from playing pranks. Enter trick-or-treating.
The 20th century would finally see the commercialization of Halloween. By the 1920s and 30s, Halloween merchandise evolved to pre-made costumes for both children and adults.
After World War II in the 1950s, the economic boom had candy manufacturers getting on the Halloween bandwagon. Movies and TV are also largely responsible for the proliferation of Halloween as a mass-market holiday. Cinemas in the 50s offered scary movie festivals, and in the 60s, the new television industry began running Halloween specials during Halloween season. By 2015, the National Retail Federation predicted spending on Halloween could reach $6.9 billion. Whether you believe that we've lost the meaning or not, Halloween has since evolved far beyond the days of pagan fire festivals. For more than a month out of the year, costume stores show up out of nowhere. Candy corn and Halloween-themed candies dominate whole aisles of grocery stores, and spooky shows and movies build out entire TV station schedules.
And we see this all started in the 8th century, like I was saying, in that BC time, from like 800 BC, and then like to like 701 BC. This is all started in that 8th century. They're just going into the 1900s as well. Like I showed the 1800s as well, how it stemmed back in. And we just see how it's back here today. He was going into the history of Halloween. So come, we see this is all that paganism back here, stem back in through their false religions, that history. That's why we went into it. They showed how it came back in. So this is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word of the Lord, speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, learn not the ways of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Yeah, we're not supposed to learn the ways of the heathen. They have these demonic outfits. It's all folly and wickedness. And those are irresponsible people who send out their kids alone. As you can see, that's what Jake does. And you wonder why your kid goes missing, because they find out when it's too late as well. And you don't want to be dismayed at the signs of heaven. This is what the heathen do. Stonehenge, that's what they would know as the time frame through that Stonehenge from the sun hitting on it. It's at a certain degree or angle, and then they would know when to celebrate this Samhain. So it's always satanic movies that tie into that, showing that Stonehenge as well. So it's like the Georgia Guidestones was a Stonehenge as well, and they got destroyed. Which it was fishy as well. All of a sudden, when more and more people are dying in these last days, you have the Georgia Guidestones destroyed, which is it's all by design. So because we know that they want to bring this place at a certain population. Depopulation, dehumanization is what goes on through Esau eating the so-called white man, the 4Ds. So they're putting spirits on kids. It's opening the door for these demons to jump on them as well, by wearing these costumes and following in this pagan custom. Because there's levels to this, like I said. There's always levels to this. Verse 3, for the customs of the people are vain. The customs of the people are vain. They follow commandments of men, as Yahushua said. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, and the work of the hands of the workmen with axe. So we see verse 4, they deck it with silver and gold, and they fasten it with nails and hammers, that it move not. It's talking about Christmas. We went into as well. This is all tied into Christmas. This is that Irish, Celtic, pagan way, as we see when I showed right here. That was All Souls Day and All Saints Day. We went into that on that website as well. All Hallows Eve with Samhain, another famous Irish tradition. St. Patrick's Day, Easter, and Christmas. This is another famous Irish tradition pagan day, man. So this all ties with it. They followed these Irish people, and it's all here today again. It continued on, is what I'm getting at. This all goes back to Nimrod, like at this whole custom of Halloween. It's like it goes into sex worship as well, heavenly body worship, because this is what they do. This is how they came from Nimrod, and then this whole custom of Halloween goes back to this Celts, like I'm saying, these Jewish people, man. So because their witch calendar would begin on November 1st, and that's when that year for them is November 1st. That's their first day of the year. October 30th would be their last day of the year. October 30th is their last day of the year. So October 31st was the day between the years, according to their custom. That like we got into, that demons can come back and forth between the worlds. That's what they believe in. We went into this, and the demons which they follow, which is also called ancestors, what they really follow. We went into we showed what goes into that trick or treat. They come to your house and they think, like, let's read that again. With this trick or treat, these Celts, they would hide behind masks and wear old clothing so ghosts wouldn't recognize or taunt them. So that's what that trick or treating goes back to. And also trick or treating right here, it shows you what they believed in as well. There is much debate around the origin of trick or treating, but generally these are three theories. The first theory suggests that Samhain, Celtic people would leave food out to appease the spirits traveling the earth at night, like we're getting into. Over time, people began to dress these unearthly beings in exchange for similar offerings of food or drink. Secondary theory is stems from Scottish practices of guising, which secular version of souling. During the Middle Ages, generally children and poor adults would collect food or money from local homes and all return prayers for the dead on All Souls Day, which ties into these Christians, these churches, what they follow, that All Souls Day. So we see that they tie it all in, like I was getting into. Straight deception and wickedness to lie and say God loves everybody, twist the scriptures to have you follow this, and you're not studying to show yourself approved and searching the scriptures that you have eternal life, like Yahushua said, to understand and to open your eyes up to see it. But like Yahushua said, that he that have ears to hear, and he that have eyes to see, blessed are they. So not everybody's gonna get this. We see right here that this trick or treat, what it came from, is just straight wickedness, and you celebrate it because you're either willful ignorant or you're ignorant, not knowing. So you're also sacrificing your kids, which is going back to Molech, casting them through the fire, which goes back to the ancient Babylon, Nimrod. So you see, like that's why I said we're gonna get into that sacrificing. They're sacrificing animals. That's why do you think kids come up missing on this day? It shows you they sacrifice kids, and then that's going back to Molech, which goes back to ancient Babylon, Nimrod. Let's get one more precept, then we could wrap this up. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. So this is spiritual fornication. You're following other gods, other idols, paganism. And this is the beginning of spiritual fornication, the invention of them, the corruption of life. This is corruption of life. We're looking for that incorruptible crown, so we're not going to follow this. The people that follow this are going for that corruptible crown. And then their life is corrupted by demons that are jumping on them by following this. A lot of people got a spirit of Satan on them. Yahweh Radazah, this was edifying because we wanted to get into this for edification, because this is all showing that you have to know where these pagan days come from. You got to know the history of it. Let's get this, Matthew 26. I'll wrap it up. Matthew chapter 26, verse 6. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany, house Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, poured it on his head. He sat at meat. When his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For you have the poor always with you, but me have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there's also this that this woman had done be told for a memorial of her. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai. Peace, salutations to all for elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, learning or teaching this gospel with truth and sincerity. Shalom.